Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 12 of the card making countdown, where I'm sharing a new card making project with you every day for 14 days. Now, what's better than a greetings card? That's right, it's a greetings card that doubles up as a gift. For today's project, we're making pop-out gift card holders. So you'll open the card and out pops a gift card that you can pull out. This is obviously not a real gift card, but just pretend it is. And then you've got that displayed, and rather than just slotting it inside the card and risking it falling out when the envelope is opened, it will be nicely secured in this little pocket inside the card. 2 different size templates are included with today's project. You've got the square one here, and also a 5x7 inch version, so you can make rectangular ones as well. You can decorate the fronts of your card however you like, but in case you'd like a helping hand, 4 different templates are included. We've got the birthday one, a graduation one, a Christmas design with Santa stuck in a chimney, and also a floral design. You can play about with these card fronts to add extra layers and colours, and they still work beautifully. And here's an example of a card I made a little while ago that I thought could do with a bit of jazzing up by adding that gift card holder inside. And for this one, I made it smaller so that it doesn't go all the way to the edge, which means you get that lovely 3-tone colour that matches the front of the card. So what are you waiting for? Get that file downloaded and then let's see how to make today's project. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. Register a free ticket for the card making countdown at craftwithsarah.com/cards25. After registering, you'll get an email which contains a link to the schedule page for the countdown. Visit the schedule page to find and download today's files. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/cards25 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the card making countdown, plus loads of extra bonus designs. The download comes in a zip folder. You need to unzip this before uploading the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to get the SVG file into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, then go to Upload over on the left, and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the file on your computer, or drag and drop it in. Choose the unzipped version of your download folder, and within there are 2 subfolders. We've got card fronts and gift card holders. The card fronts are for the pre-designed cards that I've added, so the birthday, graduation, flowers, and Christmas. Almost forgot what it was, designs on there. And then the gift card holders is where the templates for the actual pop-up effect are kept. So we'll go into there first, and then you can choose either square or rectangle. I'll go for square. And then the file to select for Cricut Design Space is the one that starts SVG in the file name. Click and drag it in, and it looks like this. Press continue, and then upload, and then it will insert onto your project. We need to change all of these horizontal lines to score lines. To do that, press ungroup at the top of the layers panel. And now you can see we've got 3 subgroups within here, which you know because they've got an arrow next to them in the layers panel. Click the arrow to open them up, and then click on the horizontal line layer. Under the Operations menu, change it to Score, and then click to select that whole subgroup. So you can see I've now got the light purple bit underneath and that score line selected. With those both selected, press Attach. Attach is what tells the Cricut that we want it to do the scoring on that particular piece of card. And then repeat for the other 2. So I'll go into this one, click the horizontal line, change it to Score, click to select that whole mini group, and press Attach. And then once more for the base card, click the horizontal line, change it to score, click to select those 2 layers, and attach. By default, the square design will make a 5x5 inch card, which is a little smaller than my regular square cards. You may need to make a custom envelope for your card to go in because it will be smaller than most square envelopes. I'll drop the link to where you can find a free envelope template in the description of this video, or if you're on the written tutorial page, it will be there included in the tutorial. However, if you want to change the size to make it more suited to a standard 6x6 inch envelope, you can do that by pressing Select All along the top, and then Align, and then Center. That's put everything one on top the other. You can't see it because the base card's right at the top, but you see the size now is set to 5 inches wide and 10 inches tall. If I wanted to change this to go in a 6x6 envelope, change the width to 5.75 and press Enter on your keyboard, and the height would change to 11.5. Because we've got everything selected, it means everything has changed in proportion, so it's all still going to fit together beautifully. However, I'm going to do mine at the original size, so I'll just undo all of this to put it back. There we go. It can be helpful to change the colours in Design Space so that you know which colour cardstock to load in at any point. However, before I do that, I'm going to load in one of the card fronts. So I'll go to Upload, and then Upload Image. Go back to the unzipped version of your download folder, and this time choose the Card Fronts subfolder, and then go into SVG files. This lists out all of the different card fronts that are included, and there's a square and a 5x7 version of each. We'll go for the one that has Birthday Square in the file name. Press Continue, and then Upload, and then it will insert onto your canvas. And by default, it will load in at 5x5, so it's exactly the same size as the front of your card. Now, actually, it would be kind of more like this way round. Let's move this out of the way and go onto your card front like that. If you want to, you can make it a bit smaller so that you'll have a border of your original colour around the edge. For instance, I could make this 4.75, and then it would stick onto the front of the card with a little bit of border. I'll go into the resizing in a little bit more detail later on in this video, but for now I'll put that back to 5 inches so it will completely cover the front, and then I'll change the colour in here to a dark blue. And then my base card, I'll need to go into the mini group, click on that bottom layer, and I'll do that from a bright blue. And then these two pieces, they'll be stuck to the inside of the card, so I like to make them the same colour as the base card, which in this case would be the lighter blue. For these pieces up here, the white is what you'll be writing your message on the inside, so I recommend leaving that as white or choosing a very light colour so that your pens can still be seen. And then this square here will be glued behind it to make a pretty little border. And for that, I'll go my same dark blue. So my message panel on the inside will end up looking like that. And then this is ready to cut. So I'll click Make. I'm not going to worry about saving it. And that will separate out all the colours. You can change the paper size in the drop down here. And then if you want to, you can click and drag to move things about. When you're happy with how everything's looking, press Continue to connect to your Cricut, get everything cut out from cardstock, and then we'll see how to put together our pop-out gift card holders. I've got all the pieces of my gift card holder cut out and ready to go together. We'll start by folding the base card down that middle score line. I want to try and get those edges lined up perfectly. Sometimes I find because the scoring stylus on the Cricut is quite thick, it can misalign your edges a little bit, so just try and make sure that they are lined up nicely. If you've got a brayer tool, you can go down along that score line to get it nice and crisp. And then we'll add the bits inside. I've got the score line, the bit that's scored on the top. I'm going to fold that backwards along itself. Give it a brayer. And then the same for the one the other side. Fold it back along that scored bit. And go down there. Then take your glue. I'm using Burley Art glue, but I also like Halal. The reason I like these two glues is they don't bend or wrinkle the card like other glues can do. And then what we're going to do is take one of these, it doesn't matter which one as they're the same size, and then look at the tab here that we folded upwards and add glue just along the edge up until where the semicircle starts. Like that. And then the same on the other side. I'm adding quite a bit of glue because that's the only place that this will be joined to the other side. Take the other side. We're going to join these two pieces together so that they perfectly line up. Slide them about into place and get that glue all stuck. So now it's stuck the two sides together, but the middle bit still opens out because we didn't add any glue there, and that's how we'll put the gift card in. And now it needs to go into the card, and for this one, it's exactly the same size as my card. Now you might find that it overlaps a little bit, like this is doing here. And that's good because of what I was talking about with the score line, kind of making it end up a little bit thinner. So what we're going to do is force it into place by gluing it each side so that the edges perfectly line up with your base card. If you've made this bit smaller, like I was showing in the screen recording section a moment ago, you won't have this problem. But if you've done it exactly the same size as the card, then it can be an issue. Add my glue here. Don't put any glue right down the very middle bit. And then I'll line one of them up along the left, and then the other one I want to line up along the right. If you've made it smaller, you'll have a border around the edge rather than going right to the very edges. And then push it inwards to get it to stick, whilst making sure your inside bit doesn't come out any further than your base card. And then hold it in a little bit, and we're going to fold that base card up along that score line, and then brayer down really firmly. Now you might find, like mine will have done, you end up with an extra kind of crease line in here from where you've brayered it. That's completely fine. It won't affect how your card goes together. If you've made your inside smaller, then you probably won't get that extra line appear. For example, on this one that I'll show you in a moment in Design Space, I've got no extra lines along here because my insert is smaller than the card, so it just has a little bit more wiggle room for opening and closing. But that's all good. We can now work on the front of the card, and again, this is exactly the same size, so I just need to glue it on top. There. You could then add any extra embellishments you want to, or leave it plain. And now we've just got the message panel to go on the inside. Glue the white square or rectangle, if you're doing the rectangular card, onto the border piece that sits underneath. And then glue all of this to the inside of the card. If you have ended up with that secondary crease line, this will go right up against that second crease. Like that. And then I can write my message on here, and this is all ready for my gift card. I don't have a gift card to hand, but I've got a little bit of paper that's the same size as a gift card to show how it goes. So it can be a little bit tricky getting it in to start with. You might want to use your fingers to pull it apart like that. Then you can slide it in and it will go right in there. I'm making this look difficult, but I promise it's not. There we go. I made that look way harder than it was. Then it pushes all the way down to the bottom, and there's the gift card. So when the card is opened, ta-da! It pops up with that gift in the middle, a card and a gift in one. The pre-designed card fronts that are included in today's download can be used in a few different ways. For example, you could make them smaller and add some extra colours, and also play about with the sizing of the gift card pop-up. Let's go back to Design Space and see how to do that. Here's how you can play about with the card fronts to add some extra colours to the front of your card. We touched on this earlier, but let's go into it into a bit more detail. I've recoloured my design for a purple theme this time, and I've got my card front, which is currently the same size. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and go maybe 4.5 inches and see how that looks. I'm going to go even smaller, 4 inches, and have it on there. There we go. And then to add in an extra colour for an extra bit of border, what you can do is go into Shapes and choose a square, and then we'll make that so it's a little bit bigger on each side. This is 4 by 4, so I'll try 4.5 by 4.5. If you're doing the rectangular card, add the same amount of inches to the width and the height, and then you'll get the same amount of border around the edge. Let's go for a yellow colour this time. That will stand out nice against the purple. And then drag the card front to the top, and then you can put that in place to get an idea of what it will look like. So there we go, just a few seconds of work, and now we've got a little bit of a more interesting looking card front design for our gift card pop-up. Here's my happy birthday card. You can see all those extra colours, and then compare it to the original, and it is quite a different effect, even though we've only done minimal changes. On this one, I also kept the pop out the same size as the card, so I've got those extra little creases in along there. But that's looking really, really nice. But what if you don't want to use the pre-made card fronts included in today's download? You want to use a greetings card you've already got or you've already made. Well, no problem, you can absolutely do that. We'll go back to Design Space and see how. To get the gift card pop-up holder put into an existing card, what you'll need to do first is load the card that you want to go on the front, which is this one. I've used one of my mandala greetings cards. I'll add the link to this exact design in the description of this video or in the written tutorial. If you're using a pre-made card, then you won't need this one, but we're going to keep it for now to help us with our resizing, because this will make a 5.75 inch card, whereas at the moment it's set to 5 inches on here. So what we'll do is hide the card by clicking the eye in the layers panel, and then rotate that back to its original position. And then just like we did earlier, press select all, align center. That's put all the pieces one on top of the other, so then I can resize it. And I'm going to go a little bit smaller and go 5.5 so that I can have a bit of border colour of the original colour. In fact, I'm going to go 5.25 so I get even more of that original colour. And then turn that back on. Now we don't need this base card piece from the gift card template because we'll replace it with the one up here. So I will delete that one. And then we've got all these layers. This time I'm not going to match it to the exact colour of the base card because remember we've done it so it will have a border. So I'll choose one of the other greens, a bit of a darker one. That one. And then the bit for my message panel, we'll go with the dark green on there. I'm going to add a score line to my base card now to make it easier to fold. Ungroup the layers and go into Shapes, choose a score line, set it to the height of the card, which is 5.75. And then drag a box around that and just the base card. You see I've just got that layer and that layer selected. Go align, center, and then attach. And I'll drag it back down underneath. There we go. Now this is ready to cut out. Here's my greetings card with that lovely mandala design. And we open the card up and we've got our little pop out for the gift card. This time you can see that border where I made the insert a bit smaller than the original card, and it means it looks a little neater on those sides as you don't get that extra crease line. I like how this looks with the 3 colours on the inside too, compared to just having those 2 in the ones where it goes all the way to the edge. But as ever with all of these designs, it's completely up to you how you decide to size them and how you decide to use them. And let's not forget, you've got the rectangular template too for making 5 by 7 inch cards. That's a little hard to see because of the black card, but there's the little hole for the gift card. I hope that you've enjoyed making these pop-out gift card holders with me today. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up and come back tomorrow for day 13 of the card making countdown. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!